Hey, hello all, welcome back to my channel. Hope you all are doing well. So today we are going to discuss one of the most important topic in Power BI, which is your append query. It's very important, from the interview point of perspective as well. So today we are going to deep dive into it with five different scenarios. We'll show you the practical implementation as well. So before that, please do subscribe to my channel to get the latest updates. So let's get started. So, what is append query, right? So, the objective of this video or tutorial today is to make you sure, like learn how to use the append queries feature in Power BI to consolidate the data sets. So, our key topics would be what is append query, types of append queries, step-by-step guide, and scenarios with examples. Why append queries, like combine multiple data sets and simplify data consolidation for analysis. So, what is append query, right? In our daily requirements, we got some requirement like we have to append the rows in one single table. So, we can utilize the option of append query. Append query in Power BI combines rows from two or more tables into a single table. It is similar to the SQL union all operation, and common use cases include like combining monthly reports, merging sales and marketing data, or consolidating data sources. It retains all the rows from both the tables. So, guys, I hope you are familiar with SQL union all operation, right? Where we used to combine the duplicates as well, right? So, append query, what does it do? That it does not change the reality of original data set. It just preserves them, right? And for to facilitate that feature into a more advanced level framework, we have two facilities: append query and append queries as new. We will look into that practical implementation to make you more familiar with that. So this is one of the basic framework what is append query, and it just retains the reality of the original data set. It just append the rows, that's it. It doesn't make any change in the quality of data. It doesn't make any change in the originality of data. Okay. So types of append queries. So basically we had two type of append queries and append queries as new. So you'll be more familiar or more clear when you will see the practical implementation. So append query means it combines the two tables directly, and append queries as new, it just creates a new table while retaining the original tables. So in the Power BI, there is a, everything happens in the Power Query Editor. In the Power Query Editor, you'll see a combine option there. There are two options: append query and append query as new. So append query, it just append the rows of both the tables. Append query as new, it just create a separate table, right? So the two tables are not disturbed. It just creates a C table. In that C table, you will see the append of table A and table B, right? So these are the two frameworks of append queries. What are the benefits of append queries? It just consolidates the data from multiple sources into one table. It simplifies the data preparation for analysis. It enables the seamless integration of data with different structures. It reduces the manual effort in the combining data sets, right? So these are the benefits of append queries. And what are the best practices? Like we have to ensure that the data sets have consistent schemas. We have to handle the nulls and mismatched data before appending, and we have to use append queries as new to preserve the original data sets, and we have to verify the data integrity after appending. So, guys, we usually in our day-to-day frameworks or in our day-to-day business requirements, we deal with a lot of variety of data. So, obviously, we are checking the quality of data. We are checking whether data has the correct data type or not. How we are handling the nulls, be it any programming language, be it SQL, be it Python, or any other framework of programming language. Always we have to handle the scenarios like nulls or mismatched data, so that data integrity we have to check it here. So Power BI allows that feature. Power BI also has that feature, like how it going to handle the nulls or mismatched data. So those things it takes into consideration. So we have to always make sure that how the data sets are getting loaded into our Power BI, because that at the destination the we cannot have the wrong quality of data, right? So we have to verify everything after appending our data, like is it coming as expected, is it coming as expected per the destination. So we have to check that. Okay, so what are the key takeaways here? We have to append query simplifies data consolidations. It handles schema mismatches and nulls carefully. Use Power Query transformations to ensure and clean data, right? So Power Query Editor, guys, in Power BI, whenever you load the data, it automatically pops up, and we have a lot of options available there how to handle those things. Yeah. So let's not to also I'm going to discuss this five scenarios of append queries. It will make you more familiar and more clear like how we are gonna deal with them. So first scenario is appending two tables with identical columns. So I'll take you to my Excel, right? This is one of the data sets we are going to look, and we will come to know like how we are going to handle them scenario per scenario. So here is the January sales table. We have order ID, product name, quantity, sales amount. There is another February sales table, order ID, product name, quantity, and sales amount. So after appending these two tables, our result should come in the Power BI like this. Okay, so you can see that in one table only, it just have appended the rows from both the tables. I'm going to show you how append query and append query as new works. Okay, so let's get to the Power BI. Okay, so again, I'll show you how we have this is transform data where we have to perform the transformation. So we are going to click over here. So basically, here we are going to perform the transformations or what we have to do, right? So this is the transform data. We are going to click over here, and it will automatically take you to the Power Query editor where we are going to do those things as well, where we are going to perform our transformation part. So as you can see on your left hand side, we have all the data sets loaded, right? Whatever we are going to use for our demonstration purpose here, January, February, March, April, and all those things. Okay, so I'm going to scratch how we are going to perform that append queries and append queries as new. So our objective here is to understand how append query and append query as new works. Okay. So this is a so whatever what tables we are going to use, January and February sales table. We are going to the home option. In the transform option also there are a lot of functionalities added over here. We'll go to the home option, and here we can see this is the combine. So we have two options, append queries as new. Let's first talk about append queries. So you can see that we have this option, two tables, three or more tables. So I'm just going to use um, two tables only for this demonstration purpose. Let's click on OK. So as you can see that, in one single table only, the two tables, this is the January data, and below that we have the February data. So append query means it just append the rows in one single table. Okay. Now I'm going to cancel my changes here, and I'm going to show you about append queries as new. So we'll click on here. So this is my, we are going to use three tables here. Uh, So I think two tables are enough. I'll think we should use two tables. January sales table. This second table is the February sales table, right? And click on OK. You see what happened. So you can see here that there is a C table created, append one. See, the original tables are not impacted, right? If you see here, the original tables are not impacted, right? So there is a separate table created which is known as append one. So here if you see, what they have done is like it created a separate table, and it has consolidated the data for both January and February. So if you go to the Excel here, you see that we are getting the same result after appending. You see, this is the order ID. This is the same identical column, right? So I hope guys this scenario one is clear how append query and append query as new works. Let's move to the second scenario. So second scenario is appending tables with different columns. So what do we mean by different columns here? So let me explain you. This is the January sales table. February sales table also have the same column, right? You can see that we have order ID, product name, quantity, and sales amount. Now there's a third table which is known as March sales table. Okay. Here we have order ID, product name, sales amount. But you see, this region column is not present in your January sales data table and your February sales data table, right? So this is scenario number two. So scenario number two deals with the data having different columns. So if you have two tables, if you have n plus one tables, right? And in that two tables you have identical columns, but what about third table? If the third table has, the additional columns which are not present in both the tables, so how the result will look like when you append those tables, right? So this is our result will come. I'll explain you how it has worked. So let's get to the Power BI. Okay. So I'm going to use January sales table, February sales table, and your March sales table. Okay. Let's go to the home option. I'm going to use append queries as new. I don't want my original data set to be disturbed. So see, two tables, three or more tables. I'm using three tables. So this is my January. I'll click on February. I'll add it over here. I'm using March sales table. I'm adding it over here. And if you go down, you have these options available of remove, move up, move down. You can utilize it accordingly. I'll click on OK. And you see what is happening over here. You see, we are getting the same result is what expected in the apple, banana, orange, grape, mango, pineapple, two null values, and then we'll have all the rows. Then first are null and north and south. So let me explain you guys what has happened. See, January sales tables, all 1, 2, apple, banana, 10, 20, 100, 200. You'll go to here. See, 1, 2, apple, banana, 10, 20, 100, 200. Now the what has Power BI has done? Power BI will automatically append that add that region column, right? Since this region column is not present in the January sales table, right? We don't have any other column after sales amount. So it will give null values, right? So if that region column is present in January sales table, it would haven't given us null. But here you see we don't have region column present over here, so it has given null. Okay. Now coming to the February sales table, if you go banana orange 2015 200 150 again null because we don't have region column present in February sales table. Okay. Now coming to the March sales table, 5, 6 mango pineapple. Let's go to this check. 5, 6 mango pineapple. Now quantity, right? See, quantity column is also not in March sales table. We do not have quantity column, right? So what it has done is it has populated null values for the March sales table. Correct? Are you getting my point? See, it has populated null values for March sales data because quantity column is not present in the March sales table, right? You see, we have only sales amount and we have only region. So region is populated here. So in scenario number two, what happens, guys, like whatever columns, right? Whatever columns are not present in the table, it will populate null values for that particular table data. So why the null has came here in the region side? Because the region column is not present in January or February data table. We don't have region column here, right? But so it has populated null values. So 1 and 2 January data, 3 and 4 February data. Correct? That's why it has populated the null values here. Correct? And this 5 and 6 is March data. So there is no quantity column in the March sales table. You see, there is no quantity column. So after appending, it is giving us the same result. You see. So I hope guys this second scenario is also clear when you have different columns, meaning to say like some of the columns are not present in the tables that you want to append. So it will populate the null values for those, right? Okay. Let's move to the scenario number three. So scenario number three is your the appending tables with different column names, right? So scenario two is about how the columns are not present. That is the absence of columns. But what here is happening is column is present but with a different name. Correct? So let's get to our data. What data we are going to use. So as you see here, we have a January sales table, order ID, product name, quantity, and sales amount. This is a February sales table, order ID, product name, quantity, and sales amount, right? And we have a March sales table and we are going to utilize the April sales table. Okay. Now, what is the difference here? If you scroll towards right, the amount column is named amount in the April sales table. You see, if you go above, in January sales table, you have order ID. In the February sales table also, you have order ID. In the March sales table also, you have order ID. Just a second. In April sales table also you have a order ID. Okay, then we have product name also in all the tables. We have quantity, and we don't have quantity in the March sales table and April sales table as well. And then we have sales amount in January, February, March, right? See, this is the main thing. Sales amount in January, sales amount in February, and we have sales amount in March table. So in the April sales table, this column is renamed to amount, right? You are getting my point. Sales amount column is named as amount in the April sales table. So let's see how this works, right? Are you able to append it, or what is the result? Let's try to see the scenarios. Let's try to append it first. So what we have to do is we have to standardize our column names here. Okay. So what table January? So I'm going to again append. First, we have to rename our columns. So for the third scenario, we have to rename our columns, right? So let's get to the table transform, and then we have to rename our columns. So in our April sales table, we have to rename our column, right? You see, This amount needs to be renamed as sales amount, correct? So if you go to the Excel, so we have to make sure we have to rename this column to sales amount so that our appended data looks like this. You see, like this. It should come like this. You write. Otherwise, it won't be able to append the table because the column name should be standardized among all the tables. So let's try to rename this. So we have to rename. See which column we have to rename. We have to rename the. You just click on this. Go to transform. Just click on rename. We are going to give it as a name as sales amount. Got it? So you see this column is named as sales amount, right? Now let's try to append this data and see what the result we will get. Now this time we are going to use four tables, your January, February, March and April. So I'm February, March, then April. You click on OK. Let's check are we getting the result or not. So let's get back to our Excel. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 we are getting. See, we are getting 168. Then we are getting apple, banana, orange, grape, mango, pineapple, cherry, pear. Yeah, 10, 20, 15. We are the null columns are getting populated. Why? Because this 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So if you go to the table above, 5, 6 and 7, 8 do not have a quantity column. So that's why it is populating the null values for those columns. Okay. Then uh, again we are going to check the sales amount. So if you see here, sales amount 100, 200, 150, 50 we are getting. So see 100, 200, 150, 120, 80, 110. So it is properly taking the, see, properly taking the values, right? Now region. So region is also coming here. So this null values are coming north, south, east and west, right? So this is coming. Okay. So I hope guys you are clear with the fourth scenario, like how we have to, append the tables when there is a different column name. Just we have to standardize our column names and then we have to check it over the top of it, like how it is working, right? So I had think I have forgot to add the region column here, so it will populate the result for region what it has populated here. Actually same thing. Region, for region how it has populated for scenario 3 also, it will populate the region column here, like here it is giving. So let me add over it when you combine. Just a second. So same result we are getting. Just a second. So I hope this scenario is clear. It's just that you have to make sure that whenever there are column names different, so we have to make sure we have to standardize the names, right? So this is our appended table, right? For region, why it is populating null values? Because for those in that table, the region column is not present. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? If you go above 1, 2, 3, 4, we don't have the region column present over here, correct? So that's why it is populating null values here. And north, south, east and west 5, 6, 7, 8. If you check over here, March sales table, you have the region column. In April sales table, you have the region column. So 5, 6, 7, 8, it is already present. So I hope scenario 3 is very much clear, and scenario 2. In scenario 2, you column names are same. It's just that one column is not present in the other table, correct? But in scenario 3, same thing, but what happened, column names are present but there is a different column name. So always rename the column, and you have to make sure that the column names are standardized among the tables that you want to append, correct? I hope the scenario is very clear, guys. Coming to scenario number 4. What is your scenario number 4? Appending data from multiple sources, right? So suppose here I'm going to show you one of the there is one Excel file, like we have the data from one source which is the Excel, and the data that is the CSV file. Okay, if you go into the Power BI, guys, if I'll show you here, click on get data. See, there are so many data sources. If you click on more, there are so many data sources. Your see, Excel, CSV, JSON folder, PDF, SQL Server database, your everything is there, right? It depends on which data source you are going to utilize as per your business requirement, right? So you see here there are lots and lots of data sources present over here. It could be anyone. So for this demonstration, I'm going to use Excel data source, and one is the CSV. Okay. So let me show you the, see, this is the sales region data, order ID, product name, sales amount, and there is a CSV file, sales region B, order ID, product name, and sales amount. Okay. So we can, this scenario is to demonstrate the data from various sources can be appended into the Power BI. So here if you see, we have the order ID, product name, sales amount, right? So let's get started. Let's load the data. I'll click on get data. Let me load first from the Excel workbook. So one is the sales data which I have already downloaded. You'll see sales region, right? So this is one of the Excel source that I have utilized. Okay. So you see here what I was telling you, whenever you load any data from source to Power BI, this is the Power Query editor, right? So what I have to first check, my data is in the correct format or not, right? If you see, the preview is evaluating. See, my data is in the correct format. There is no additional columns. There is no null values, correct? See, same data. I'll click on load. Okay, so it will get loaded into the Power BI, correct? So if there are any additional columns which you don't need, or if there are any null values in the columns, you have to make sure first transform the data. Okay. So suppose if I have a column which is not required, or if there is any null value, I will just transform my data. I remove that column, or I will just remove that column name or remove the null values. So like that, I'm doing, I'm performing a cleanup on my data, correct? So that is called transforming your data. So my data is getting loaded here. So this is one my sales region A, then I will load the CSV file which is your sales region B. So like this you can utilize any sources to load your, just a scenario to explain you like how the append takes place for that. It's loading into the Power BI. So I hope guys you are very much clear with scenario 1, 2 and 3, and you have understood the, you know, how append and append query works, correct? So it's just loading the data. and what is the use of append query and append query as new. I hope that scenario is very much clear to you guys. So append query is like it just appends the rows in one table, but your append query as new, it just creates a separate C table to load the data without even impacting your original data set. So as you can see that our one data set is loaded. So if you see here, so why the sheet one is coming, because as you see that if you open that Excel file, if I'll show you, if I'll open that Excel file, sales region A. Guys, see, whenever you load any data, as you can see that our data is fine. There is no issue with the data. But this sheet one, right? I mean, whatever tabs you will name here, it will automatically show here. Correct? So always, provide meaningful names to the tab over the data here. So that is just a demonstration what I want to show you, right? That's why the name is coming like that. Now I will again go back to my data. I will choose CSV file here. So this would be my sales region B. This is a CSV file, right? So we are going to load them, and same thing we have to check, like we have to check whether the data is in the correct format or not, or are there any additional columns which is not required, or is there any null values populating. So we have to just check it. We try to append both these two tables and see how it works. It's loading, actually it's working in the backend. So in this way, you can just load your data from SQL Server or from any other particular data source and try to append them and see how it works. So here I just take an example of CSV files here. So you can see that this is a CSV file. So this is a delimiter comma, and if you go click on this, there are so many delimiters present. According to that, you can utilize. In my case, it is comma. So let it be a comma separated. It is a comma separated one, and based on first 200 rows. So this is my data. Then I'll click on load. It will load the data of a CSV file. So there are so many data sources available. So according to that, you can just utilize and check how the append works. So you can see that we have only two rows loaded. You see here. So you can see that sales region B is already uploaded. It's just that, I already show you like how the tabs are defined within the CSV file or Excel. According to that, the names are populated here. So be just careful to provide meaningful names while having that data set. You see, my tab is named as sales region B here. So it just depends how it is. So I'll click close it. And if you just if you go to the table view, so my data is loaded and you can just check like how it works. Correct. Okay, I'll go back and I'll try to append these two. I'll go to my transform data. I'll go to my home. I will click on append queries as new. Okay. Okay, so you'll see concatenate rows from two or into a single table. I have this sales region B. Second table would be my sheet 1. Okay, let's keep first table as sheet 1 and second table as your sales region B. Click on OK. Okay. So you see append 4 is a single separate table created wherein we have the data from both the source included. So if you go back to the Excel, you see here like from we have a sales region A like 1012 apple banana sales amount 100 200. Then we have a sales region B here 201 202 orange grape 150 50. If you append both the tables it will come like this. So it is coming as expected in Power BI. You see, just a sec. Okay, 101 102 01 202, and it is coming apple banana orange grape and 100 200 150 50. Okay, so this is one of the example where the data is from different sources. The one is from your Excel, one is from your CSV file. Okay, so we can append the data from different data sources, be it anything. I hope scenario 4 is clear to you guys. Let's move to the last scenario, which is scenario number 5. So scenario number 5 is we have to append the data with filters. Okay, so what does it mean? So for this demonstration, we are going to utilize the sales 2023 table. You have the date, product, sales amount. There is another table, sales underscore 2024. We have date, product, and your sales amount. Okay, and the result after appending it should come as this one. Okay, now what does filter conditions, right? Suppose in your requirement of your business requirement, the condition comes like, suppose I want the data of the sales amount or the rows where sales amount is greater than 1000. Okay, so if you see the tables here, we have a sales amount, we have 500, 1200, and 800. So I want to see only those rows or this where the sales amount is greater than 1000 from both the tables. You see what I'm trying to say? In sales 2023, populate the sales amount which is greater than 1000. The sales 2024, populate those amount where the sales amount is greater than 1000. You see, so after that this sales amount 1200 should come because in this table it is 1200, and in this the sales amount we have 2000 because these amounts are greater than 1000. Okay, so after appending this our result should come like this. I want to see only those products whose sales amount is greater than 1000 from both the tables after appending. So how are you going to perform this scenario where there are so many filter conditions will be involved? So let's check, and I hope you have understood the requirement, right? So let's get to the Power BI. So I'm again going to my home. Okay. Now, so how we are going to do that? We have to click on Sales 2023 table, right? And see this step very carefully, because this is very important, like how you are going to deal with the scenario where you have been asked to work on a filter basis, like that particular table, like what I explained you, the sales amount is greater than 1000. Okay, so sales 2023 table we are going to check. So see, this is one of the amount, sales 2024, this is one of the amount. Okay, so how we are going to check that table? So let's go back to it. So what are the steps we are going to perform? Okay, so first of all we have to click on the sales amount drop down column. Okay, and we have to see the filter. Okay, we have to perform filter here. So you just uncheck it and see. Okay, this is 1200. Okay, so same step you have to perform for, just a second, number filters. Okay, what I'll try to do here is, let just a second, click on number filters greater than, yeah, you can set a condition is greater than 1000. Okay, so sorry, 1000, right? Let's click on OK. See, 1200 is there. Same you have to perform for sales 2024 table. Again, click on drop down, click on number filters here, greater than, my select value is 1000. Okay, click on 1, click on 1000. Okay, you see, so in both the tables, if you see that our sales amount is greater than 1000. Okay, now I am going to append these two tables. So we have to click on home, click on home, click on append queries as new, click on there, append queries as new. Okay, so here we have only two tables. So our first table is sales underscore 2023, and our second table is sales underscore 2024. Okay, we are going to click OK. So you see our result is coming like append 5. I have to rename this column. If you want, you can rename the column, which is coming as filtered, sorry, just a second, filtered underscore sales. Okay, you see guys how this functionality works. You see we have got all the products, how this filter has worked. This product B, D and F, all the amount is greater than 1000. Okay, if you go into Power BI, see we are getting that result. Okay, I hope guys, whatever scenarios we have discussed, uh, hope everything is clear, right? So the new filtered sales table have contained the rows from both sales 2023 and sales 2024, but only for the transactions where sales amount is greater than 1000. You see, right? So in this way you can check, like you can perform your filter conditions what I have shown, and you can append and it will show you only those tables, right? So I hope guys everything is clear. This is the scenarios, hope you have understood as well, and this will definitely help you whenever you encounter these scenarios. You will be this will be definitely helpful to help you understand, like for those scenarios, how the append operation works, how the these step by step I have tried to explain these five different scenarios. So I hope everything is clear, and yeah, so thank you all. Thanks for being stay tuned in, and this is definitely helpful. Do go and check it, and please subscribe to my channel to get latest updates for such useful scenarios. I hope this will definitely help you. So thank you.